Okay.
All right. Welcome. This Week in Sports, Episode 1, Quarantine Edition preview. As we're watching Ichiro's last game in the major leagues. If you tune in, thank you. If we don't get any viewers, we're doing this as a test run, but we got some nice software for free and we're testing it out. So we're going to jump right into it.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. And now, switch over. And it's going to there's going to be a little delay between YouTube and us, but I'm going to pull up MLB standings from, Jack, where do you want to start with this? Do you want to go look up some MLB standings from last year? Do you want to look up some MLB?
Yeah, let's do that. See, what we can do.
Or let's look up somebody else's 2020 preview and go off that.
Yeah.
All right. And my Wi-Fi is a little spotty. Hopefully we're not getting too much lag, but we've got nothing that we can do to control that. Anyway, we've got this preview. This was March 4th before the coronavirus totally marred this season. So here's their standings predictions. I think we should just pause here. I think we should both predict our division winners and our wild cards.
Okay. So
do you want
to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Do you want to go division by division?
Let's do. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna save our favorite for last. So we're gonna go NL East first. This is a pretty easy one. Braves are gonna win it.
Yep.
I think Nationals, obviously coming off that insane World Series run, which we dream of having soon for our own team. They're definitely going to have to be respected, but knowing the Braves and that young core, the swagger that they have, the additions they've made this offseason, the depth, I think they're definitely winning this division.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I love the Marlins. I think they're going to be a little bit improved. I just think it's funny that they still exist almost. Baseball's been such a failure in the state of Florida, but I also have a hat because I like their logo. So, hopefully with Jonathan VR, some young guys, hopefully they don't trade away the one or two guys who end up doing well. Phillies with Bryce Harper, obviously, they've got some talent. To me, they feel like a team that's stuck in the middle. It's like an NBA team that, is not competing for a title, but is, getting that, in the playoffs every year. It's like the worst position to be in because they've got money committed.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
I want to say this about the Phillies, though. If you look at the Phillies roster right now, they're a pretty solid team. You got guys you got Andrew McCutcheon's on the team. You got, Bryce Harper. You got, Jay Bruce. You got, of course, Gene Segura. Rhys Hoskins is a great player. JT Realmuto is a great catcher. So I think if they can piece it together, I think they certainly have the capability of being a really good team. And then pitchers like Zach Wheeler, Hector Neris, Aaron Nola, of course. I think they have pieces. Like Jake Arrieta has shown that he can be amazing.
Hey, but I remember there was one night I was in Pittsburgh last year. I saw Jake Arrieta. I have to tell you, I think he's a little bit lacking. I don't think he's the same player that he once was on the Cubs. I think he's like I think he's a third starter. I think he's probably a decent third starter still.
Yeah.
I'd say Wheeler's going to end up being a high-end 2 or low-end 1 because, he's got crazy stuff. Everybody's predicted him to break out for years on end, and, whatever year he finally puts together, he will. But, yeah, the Phillies are an interesting one. The Mets, to me, are the least interesting team, although people talk about them being interesting after they fired Mickey Callaway and they've got Stroman. I think the Mets are a couple years away.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
Let's just put it this way. I think the Mets are further away than the Jets. from competing for anything.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
All right, moving on to the NL Central. This is my pick for the most fun, interesting, and competitive division in baseball. Obviously, last year was a race, 5-team race till the end. I actually had the fortune of seeing every single one of these ballparks last summer and seeing a game at all but Busch Stadium because I only got to drive by. I predict the Reds are going to win this division. I've told Jack a couple times that they might be one of the surprise teams. Akiyama, what's the outfielders that they've picked up? I think they've got like 5 deep in the outfield and like 5 deep in the infield. I'm not going to take too much time with each of these teams, and I think their pitching is deep. I think they're one of the deepest teams in the entire league. I think their 40-man roster.
Yeah. Well, they have a pretty deep outfield.
And then they also have Shogo Akiyama, like I just mentioned. And they picked up Moustakas in the infield to go with. They picked up Moustakas to go with Eugenio Suarez. Vado's coming back. Galvis is coming back. I think they really have a deep team. Tucker Barnard at catcher. We'll see what he can do in that lineup. He's probably going to be the 9th hitter.
I will say that I think the one downside to the Reds is their pitching.
I think it's improved. Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo were both All-Stars last year. Adding Trevor Bauer and adding I forget who else they have, but they've got a couple more guys who are starters. Lorenzen. I think there's got 1 or 2 more starters even. Tyler Mal, and I'm forgetting there's one even one
Sonny Gray.
I said Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, both All-Stars.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be one to watch. I think they're winning this division. Jack, who do you have winning?
For me, yeah, I think the Reds are going to. Honestly, realistically, I can see the Reds and the Cardinals playing out for the division. I think Cardinals, have the upper edge.
Cardinals are the perennial one, but I'm a bit of a Cincinnati fan, and I think they've got the pieces. I think their culture and pieces this year just have the perfect blend. I think the Cincinnati Reds are winning the NL Central. Are you taking Cards or Reds, though? I'm
taking the Cardinals.
All right, fair enough.
I'm taking the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a team that, they're scrappy. I mean, they're always in games, and you know what? They always make it competitive every year, and they've been amazing every year. And you got guys like Carlos Martinez, Andrew Miller, of course Wainwright, who's pretty much a veteran now, but you got Jack Flaherty, Brett Cecil. I mean, and then you add in guys like an all-star first baseman like Paul Goldschmidt to go along with Matt Carpenter, who's an all-star. Go with Yadier Molina, who's probably one of the greatest catchers of all time. And I think
they've got the pieces to do it.
I think they have the pieces. Yeah, I think they have a solid veteran team, and I think that can carry the team.
Yeah, the Cubs are undeniably going to be in it, and so are the Brewers, knowing the talent that they have with Yelich and obviously that everybody on the Cubs, Bryant, Rizzo, and the Pirates obviously are the one team that seems out of it, but Josh Bell was one of my favorite players in baseball last year, and it was a cool place to go to. I hope they do all right too, and I don't know.
Josh Bell actually took over the Instagram Live today on the MLB Instagram Live, and he was saying that the Pirates are like really, really connected as a team. They were really getting together in spring training, even though they lost a bunch of games. They were really strong, team wise, and their chemistry was like really, really good. So I would expect a surprise from the Pirates this year. I think I'm going to say they're middle of the pack around 500, but
okay. Yeah. Well, you heard it here first. All right, NL West. We're moving on. This one
definitely is no brainer. The Dodgers are winning it.
This one, I don't even want to spend too much time. The Rockies have had a weird bad offseason. As we know, Nolan Arenado didn't want to get traded and then did. And,
Yep.
The Giants, if the even year
Giants
crap,
still rebuilding.
if the even year crap happens, we're not going to be able to predict it, and we're not going to be able to predict how it happens either. It's going to be Carl Yastrzemski. It's going to be Yastrzemski playing like his grandfather. Is the only way.
Yeah.
Padres, I think, were really young and interesting last year.
I think the Padres are a very interesting team.
They could make some noise in the NL.
I think they could as a wild card potentially.
We're gonna revisit the Padres on our wild card talks, and the Diamondbacks I think are gonna be middle of the pack. I'm gonna
say they're hovering around 500.
For some reason, the Diamondbacks are the team that every year I'm like, wait, they have all these guys. They should have more production out of this. What's his name? Yasmani Tomas. Hey, so they've got all this power, right? Yasmani Tomas, Jake Lamb coming back. Shout out Seattle, and then we got. What's his face? Ketel Marte started the All-Star game. But the thing about the Diamondbacks, I feel like the guys like Ketel Marte are the guys, every year some guy like Ketel Marte that's supposed to play well this year is going to play bad. And some other player is going to play really well. But then they're going to end up as the middle of the pack.
They did pick up Cole Calhoun in the offseason.
Cole Calhoun. Nick Ahmed might be one of the best defensive players in baseball, but I don't think he's as much of a hitter as everyone thinks he is. I don't know. Yeah. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be middle of the pack. I don't see them contending for the wild card.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah, I would say hover around 500.
All right, and I'm going to go for I think we should say our wild cards now. I'm going to say.
Yeah, for me, I think the wild cards are going to be. I think it's going to be the. I'm going to say the Cubs and the Padres.
Wow, defending champions missing out.
Yeah.
All right, you know what I've got? First spot, I'm going to put the Nats. Really? And second spot, this guy has the Cubs and the Nats in that order. I'm not going to put the Cubs. I'm going to put the Cards because I already put the Reds. And, yeah, that's how I'm going to go. San Diego's going to miss out barely. I think Milwaukee and Chicago Cubs are both going to be in the hunt. I think Philly could be in the hunt and the Mets maybe as well, depending on how the deadline goes. All right, but...
Okay, now let's move on to the American League.
And at the end, we'll choose our World Series matchups.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go first on AL East. Let's start in the East.
Yankees.
You think the Yankees?
Yankees are going to win that division.
Yeah. All right, I'm not going to... Let's call a spade a spade. We hate the Yankees over here in Seattle, but they're going to win that division. The Rays, obviously interesting. They're a weird baseball factory of weird ideas, We'll see what they come up with next season. Hopefully Blake Snell returns to himself. Hopefully their average players can, keep playing above average, and we'll see what happens with the Rays. They're always a question mark at the beginning of the year, and they always have some weird new thing they're doing.
Yes.
Boston's a weird one. After that Mookie Betts trade, we don't know what exactly their plan is. I think they're going to have somewhat middling year, but I think they'll still be above average.
I think they'll be above average, but I
think they'll be in the hunt.
They'll be in the hunt, but I definitely think their pitching's a little decimated now with Chris Sale going down, and then they did add Colin McHugh though, and let me say Colin McHugh is a great pitcher.
Yeah,
you got guys like Nathan Eovaldi, Matt Barnes. I'd say the pitching's definitely their downside right now.
Yeah,
but they got a core infield with Devers and Xander Bogaerts, and an even younger core. They did add Kevin Pillar in the offseason too.
Yeah,
to bolster their outfield. So I think that nice mix with Jackie Bradley, JD Martinez, Benintendi, I definitely think that it's definitely there that they can be a good team. But I definitely just think with this division, it's going to be like really tough, like battling with the Rays as well.
Yeah, this division feels like it's been a 3-team race for the last decade, but honestly,
really, it's only been like the Yankees.
I mean, it's been the Red Sox have won 2 World Series.
They have won 2 World Series, but I definitely think the Yankees for like the better half of this decade have.
I think the Red Sox have their down years, but they do what we do. They do what I do in 2K. They have a down year. They're rebuilding to win the next year, and then they'll scrap it all and rebuild again for 1 year to win the next year again.
Yes.
The Red Sox are constantly improving, though. I mean, the Mookie Betts trade, it looks terrible now, but we'll see what ends up happening. I think
Chris Sale is out for the year, so.
Yeah, Chris Sale out for the year is a big blow, though. We'll revisit them when we're talking about wild card because I think they're gonna be at least in the hunt. AL Central.
We forgot the Blue Jays and the Orioles.
Oh, Blue Jays. Okay, if we're gonna cover every team in every division, honestly, Blue Jays and Orioles are the 2 that we can just not cover. Blue Jays have all these young players. We still need to see what they are. This year is just going to be a bunch of question marks getting answered.
And
hopefully,
with the Orioles, we don't even like
the Orioles. We have no idea who's going to be playing for them. Whether it's Rio Ruiz or, Trey Mancini.
They did add Jose Iglesias.
Okay, Jose Iglesias is the only player of note that we know went to the Orioles. Who's their manager again?
Their manager is Brandon Hyde.
Brandon Hyde. I think he's pretty. He's got like he's got like the Hugh Jackson Cleveland job. Like people call him incompetent, and he looks incompetent. But
Freddie Gonzalez is his bench coach now.
Who knows who would be able to fix that team, right?
Yeah. You hear me though? Freddie Gonzalez is his bench coach now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, now, if we're looking at the AL Central, I had the fortune of going to 3 of these ballparks last year, 4.
Yeah.
And, it's been, the AL Central is interesting, but I've always thought that it's kind of the poorest division in baseball.
Yeah.
Just because the White Sox and Royals have been so bad.
Well, the Royals,
other than their World Series,
it's like they went to the World Series and then they just totally fell off the lead.
Other than their 2 World Series years, the Royals and White Sox are like traditionally bad teams. Honestly, it feels like now the Indians and the Tigers to a lesser extent have been bad teams other than the World Series appearances. The Tigers to an even lesser extent, but recently. And, this year, again, the Tigers are going to be one of the worst 3 or 4 teams in all of baseball. They're going to be the team that...
Yeah. Also, while we're here talking about the Tigers, I do want to, say my condolences to the entire K-Line family. We lost a legend in the game. And, the K-Line family, our thoughts are with you. And we hope that we can get through this together. I know that Al was a great man and a great, great player for the Tigers, so... Just condolences to the entire K-Line family.
And that's right. When I went to Comerica Park in July, I saw a bunch of Kalen jerseys the same way I see 51 Ichiro jerseys on my wall over there on my back right now and around Seattle. And they loved I can't, I don't want to even think about that.
There. He played 22 years.
Hey, and just recently, I was actually doing some research for a school project. I learned about Ernie Harwell, who was the announcer back then, and saw some of his great Al Kaline calls, and man, those are magical moments. Magical, magical moments. I hope Detroit, I hope you get some magical moments soon because your city deserves it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, your baseball team is going to give them to you this year, and you're probably going to lose 100 games. Best of luck. I hope the Lions and Pistons can figure something out too. And the Red Wings.
And the
Red Wings, I don't even know what to say.
Awful, man.
Yeah, the Red Wings used to be like one of the best franchises in hockey, but hockey isn't our sport, so we're not going to diss you where we don't have the knowledge to. All right, Jack, you ready to talk about our favorite one?
Oh yeah. I hate to say it, but I mean,
so
it's gonna be a little interesting when you have a cheater in the division, but
so I don't think there's anybody that's more happy about the baseball community is out to get the Houston Astros because the Houston Astros cheated the baseball community. And in doing it, they cheated baseball as a sport, baseball as a game, baseball history. You know, everybody who's ever played baseball picked up a bat and a ball. Everybody who's ever earned a trophy in Little League or anything. I don't know. The Astros decided that it was okay to do this thing with the banging that, I don't know, somehow it was okay, but they needed to hide it. You know, and some of them tried to say that they couldn't have known it was wrong. Some of them have just come out and apologized, like Evan Gattis, who recently retired. Congratulations to you, and obviously wish you the best in retirement because, man, it sounds like you've got some shit to unload off your chest. And all of the Houston Astros really do.
Yes.
But a lot of them just don't feel guilty about it or have something that matters more than, you know.
And the part that pisses me off even more is that, I mean, while this is happening, that none of the players really got,
none of the players got punished. It's hard to punish the players, yes, but come on now. You got to punish the players.
Well, also, here's the thing that I also saw, that depending on if this season happens this year, it probably will happen, but if it doesn't happen, then the suspension still goes through.
Right.
So it's not like, even if there's no games this season, they still are serving their suspension this year.
Right.
So we could see.
Well, I think
AJ back on the field.
Next MLB season we could see AJ Hinch back in the dugout, which is ridiculous to say, because
I don't think that he will be back managing the Astros.
No, not the Astros.
He will not be back managing the Astros. That is my guaranteed prediction.
He is not. They had to fire him. They're not going to be allowed to hire him back. The commissioner will block it.
No.
Or the it's all okay. Anyway, they don't deserve any more of our time. All right. Anyway, we've got, let's see. All right, Jack, you still there?
Yep.
All right. Well, the AL West, I'm not going to predict the Astros to win it.
No.
I'm going to predict that the Angels are going to win it just because they made some big moves. I don't think the Angels are a good team. I never think the Angels are a very good team. I never think that they're like Martin Maldonado type players are going to somehow figure it out. Anthony Rendon and Mike Trout is obviously formidable, the same way Pujols and Trout was. And I somehow, somewhat still is. The Angels and A's are really the only two teams that honestly, the Rangers could compete too, now that I think about it. They've got Mike Minor. They've got, do they still have Lance Lynn? No, Lance Lynn left.
No, they did. They got Corey Kluber, though.
They did get Corey Kluber.
They got Corey Kluber. They picked up Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier in that Rangers lineup. They've obviously got
Yeah.
Mazzara, Rougned Odor, guys like that. They could have good years.
They got Kiner Falefa.
Yeah, and honestly, the Rangers, A's, and
No, they do have Lance. They still have Lance Lynn.
They still have They still have Lance Lynn. So they've got a pretty decent pitching. Hitting that is inconsistent, but could be really fiery sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm honest, and the A's, we never know, but by the end of the year, they're going to be better than the beginning, drastically.
Yeah, and let's not get this like mixed up, because Bob Melvin is a great motivator and a great manager.
Exactly. That's why they're better at the end of the year. We'll just split the. All right, I'll take the Rangers. You take the Angels. The Mariners are going to finish 5th, and I am totally accepting of it. It's been 20 years. One more can't hurt, and Kelnick better come with Rodriguez in 2021.
Yeah, and we better pick up a big name free agent next offseason.
I want a big name free agent pitcher, and I want our prospects to work out for once.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to do our playoffs now? So wild card for AL.
Wild card, I'm gonna go. For my wild card, I'm going to go with. It's going to be one of those AL East teams. So for me, I'm going to go probably the Rays and the Oakland Athletics.
Rays and A's, wow, in the wild card game. All right, I'm going to go. Also, did we predict a division winner? We didn't predict a division winner in the Central or the West yet, or in the Central.
I'm going to go with Minnesota in the Central.
Minnesota's an easy one in the Central to me.
Yeah.
They've got a really good culture that they're building. But for my two wildcard teams,
it's going to be one of those AL East teams for one of them.
I'm taking the Red Sox and the Indians.
Really? So you think that the AL West is just going to be like dominant over everyone else?
What?
Do you think that the AL West, there's just going to be one division where there's not going to be anyone else that makes the playoffs in that division?
Yeah, I mean that's the way it has to be. There's only two wild cards.
Yep.
I think the West is going to miss out, and I think the NL West is also going to miss out.
Yeah, same thing with me. I think that
I've got the boat.
I kind of want to change my prediction. I think that it's definitely for the National League. I think it's going to be the Cubs and it's going to be the Cubs and the Nationals, in my opinion.
Oh man, you're just using this guy's wild cards now.
No, I'm not. I mean, it's actually
no. Well, you have the same picks as him.
Yeah, well, I think it's a pretty.
He's definitely got some truth to it. For me, the reason I'm just going a little bit out of the ordinary because I don't know. I saw some stuff in Cincinnati last year that I think is going to make a big impact.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not many teams that are willing to go fight for their guys the way Cincinnati is. Everybody on that team will go fight for each other.
Yes.
All right. Now, yeah, my two wild cards: Red Sox and Indians. Now, who do you predict is going to be in the World Series?
World Series, I'm gonna go Dodgers and Twins.
Dodgers, Twins. Yep. All right, I'm gonna go. Braves, Yankees.
Ooh,
I think those are the
good series.
I think those are the two best teams at the end of the year, and the Yankees were decimated by injuries, man, but they were still so good. I think the Yankees are just too good in the AL. I think the Braves, as young as they are going to be popping at the end of the year, and they're going to beat the Dodgers in a really good NLCS.
Yes.
All right. Now, Yankees versus Braves, and you've got Dodgers versus Twins. Who do you think is going to win?
Dodgers.
You think the Dodgers are going to win their first World Series in over 30 years?
Yes.
All right. I think the Yankees are going to win their first World Series in, a decade, but they're 28th. And, all right. Well, there's our team predictions. Yeah, so we'll do National League Awards first. Rookie of the Year, Gavin. Okay, anyway, we'll start MVP.
Why is Christian Yelich not on that list?
I don't know. I mean, they think Acuna is going to pop. I have the Braves in the World Series.
Yelich is just too good, in my opinion. I think Yelich is going to be the MVP.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Yelich. I think Betts and Bellinger are going to split a little bit because they're on the same team. I think it's going to be Yelich, Acuna. And you know what? I'm going to pick a guy that not many people are going to pick to have a huge year. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but something sounds right to me about Eugenio Suarez being the third MVP vote.
I can actually see that. I mean,
he had a huge
solid hitter, great defender,
He had a huge end of the year last year. I saw him hit a lot of home runs in just a few games. In 2 games, I saw him hit 3 home runs. I don't know. He's having fun. I think with the protection in the lineup next year that he'll have, with the depth that they're going to have, around him, I think he's going to be the star of that Reds team, and he's going to be third in MVP voting. And what do you think, Jack?
I mean, yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you. I think that Suarez will definitely be in that conversation. But yeah, to me, I really think that Christian Yelich should. I think he's getting overlooked on this page, but I really think that he's really, really talented. Like, he puts up MVP numbers. I think he's put up MVP numbers of, I want to say 3 of the last 4 seasons or something.
I'd agree.
And I definitely think that he gets overlooked. And
I don't think he's getting overlooked.
Well, on this list, I mean.
Just on this list. Now, I feel like the only reason they're doing that is because they think Acuna is going to pop. I mean, Betts, Acuna, and Bellinger are all
popping, but Christian Yelich is too good.
All right, so you think? Well, you've got Yelich number 1. Who are your other 2?
Yelich, and then Acuna, and then Suarez.
You're picking the same as me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cy Young. I can't believe you took Suarez just because I convinced you. I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could see Cody Bellinger on there. But,
yeah.
I mean,
that's more likely.
I think that Suarez can carry that Reds team.
My prediction. I also have the Reds winning that division, so that's where I'm coming from. This Cy Young voting though, I'm not sure I agree with this number 1 pick.
No, me neither.
I don't think Jack Flaherty's going to win. I mean, he had a really good end of last year. Stat guys love him. Analytics guys love him. But I don't know. I haven't picked the Cardinals to do well. Obviously, this isn't a comprehensive prediction, except I'm, talking about what I actually think will happen in real life. And I think Trevor Bauer is going to have a real comeback year. I think he's going to win the Cy Young in the National League.
Really? That's a bold prediction.
That's a really bold prediction, but I want to make some that are really bold predictions. I'm going to make Suarez. I'm going to make Bauer, and I might make one more really bold one.
Yep.
I'm going to take Trevor Bauer is going to win the Cy Young. Luis Castillo's going to. They've got Castillo's going to take a step forward too, though, and on the same team, they're definitely going to take Castillo over Bauer. Bauer can't. I mean, because Bauer having a better year than Castillo is going to be a real challenge.
Right.
I'm going to take. I'll take Luis Castillo, and it sounds like I'm a Reds fan right now, but
yeah,
what I saw last year was unmistakable from that team. Walker.
I'm definitely going to go Walker Buehler for the National League. I think that the Dodgers are solid team, and he's going to own that division too.
Yeah.
Just like he did in years past.
Right.
Especially last year. I think that Walker Buehler is just such a dominant pitcher.
Yeah. All right. Now, I mean, all right. I'm just going to take Castillo, Bauer, and Buehler. That's going to be my three. I'm going to say Bauer's going to get the second vote just because I want to see him do well.
Okay.
What about you? What's your three?
I think it's Buehler. Buehler, Castillo, and then Trevor Bauer after that.
Okay, so you just got a different order than me. Okay, Rookie of the Year. They've got Gavin Lux, Dylan Carlson.
I think that's easy. I think Gavin Lux is the clear Rookie of the Year right there.
Well, Gavin Lux is the clear favorite going into it. I think the Rookie of the Year is something we're going to be surprised on, as we always are. And guess what? I'm going to continue the trend here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that Aristides Aquino is going to be Rookie of the Year, and Gavin Lux is going to come in second.
Is Aquino still a rookie? Technically a rookie?
I believe he is.
Oh, right, because he got called up, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Aquino, Lux, May, and you're gonna go with this list?
Yep.
Okay. Let's move on to the AL.
MVP, Mike Trout.
MVP, we got Mike Trout. I mean,
there's no doubt that Mike Trout is the best player in the game.
In a year where the Astros can't cheat him 19 times, I can't wait to see how much it raises his stats. And I love this Francisco Lindor second pick. Having the Indians as the wild card, I think Lindor plays insane in this contract year.
Yes.
And Judge as third, having that come back off the injury. I see where that's coming from, and I think Judge will probably get the press when the Yankees win. I could see it. But I'm going to go, I'll agree with this.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with that list. I don't think I need to change anything. I do think that, and everyone probably would agree with me, that Mike Trout is the best player in the game right now.
Easily, no question.
And Lindor is easily the second.
Best player?
I mean, not easily the second, but I think Lindor is definitely MVP worthy in the American League. And of course, Aaron Judge too. He, if anyone plays for the Yankees, you're gonna put up numbers.
Right.
And I think that Aaron Judge is he's shown that he can be an MVP candidate just by him him playing the last 4 years. I think he's shown that he's solid.
I'd agree. All right. Moving on to the Cy Young. They've got Cole, Clevenger, and Verlander. I think Verlander is going to have a tougher time. The Astros, I just don't see them doing well this year. I think it's going to be – but I'm going to switch this order up. I saw Clev pitch last year, by the way, and dude's a beast. Anyway, I'm gonna go Cole Clevenger and Domingo Santana from the Yankees.
Really? So you think that two Yankee pitchers are gonna put up Cy Young numbers?
Yeah. Dude, Luis Severino also could. It could be three Yankees.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's no one named Domingo Santana on the Yankees.
Domingo Germán. My bad. I got confused with the name. Domingo Germán.
I don't see a Domingo on the Yankees roster.
Domingo Germán. He pitched last year. You don't remember Domingo Germán?
Yeah, he's not on the roster, dude.
You don't remember Domingo Germán from last year, Jack?
No. Oh yeah. Now I do.
Okay.
But he's not on the Yankees roster.
No, he is. He's injured. He might be injured, but he's on the Yankees roster.
Is he on the 40-man roster? Because I don't see him on the 40-man roster either.
Dude, he's on. Just trust me. He's on the roster. He's not eligible for arbitration till 2021, and he's under club control till 2024.
Okay.
I'm looking at Baseball Reference right now. Do you see the screen? You can see my screen, can't you?
Yeah.
Don't you see his contract right here?
I do see his contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Domingo Germán is a real player. He pitched on Sunday Night Baseball last year. He pitched for the Yankees. I'll show you.
I know he's real.
Okay.
I know he's real, but I don't see him on the roster when I'm looking at MLB.com.
All right. Oh, MLB.com roster. Well, it's got. I think it's tripping because he was injured or something, but that's just that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what? I think it's tripping because maybe they didn't use him in the playoffs because he was injured or something.
Okay.
But anyway, he led the majors in win-loss percentage, obviously 18-4 due to being on the Yankees, which helps with Cy Young, and it's going to help next year. I mean, he's going to win 20 games playing a full season, I believe. And
I definitely think that while record is helpful for Cy Young, I think the number one thing is ERA for Cy Young.
ERA is definitely the biggest, right? And his wasn't great last year.
No, he had a high ERA, but because he's on the Yankees, he had a very good record.
If I could go, I forget how to go look at the games. Game logs, 2019. He had a bunch of bad games later in the year, but earlier in the year before he got injured, he was throwing fire.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I think he would have been named an All-Star had he not been injured. Yeah. Ichiro's now getting taken out of the game.
Yep. Very sad and happy moment.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what the copyright laws are, so I'm not going to show the game on the.
No.
Actually, no. I think I'm able to. I think I'm totally allowed to do that, but I also have my computer set up in a weird way, so that's the real reason I don't want to do that.
Right.
All right, we've been live for 40-something minutes. Now, let's go finish this AL predictions. Anyway, Domingo Germán is my third pick for Cy Young. What about you?
Man, that's actually a tough one. I definitely agree with Cole and Clevenger being at the top. I think for me, man, that is a tough decision. I don't really have a third prediction. I just think it's going to be one of those two.
No, you know who else I want to mention is what's his name on the White Sox? Lucas Giolito.
Oh yeah.
I think he has a chance to sneak in there as well. And that's Cy Young. Now Rookie of the Year, they've got Luis Robert, Joe Adell, and Jesus Luzardo. I'm going to put Kyle Lewis in there in the third spot because dude's a beast. Is underrated.
Yeah, Kyle Lewis is, he's going to be he's going to be a starting outfielder this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go Luis Robert, Jesus Luzardo, and then Kyle Lewis.
Yeah, that's my list too.
Yeah.
That's actually my list too. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Now, they've all got the Dodgers and Yankees winning, as I've got the Yankees and you've got the Dodgers.
Yep.
Anyway, that is the end of our MLB preview. Jack, would you like to hang up here?
What?
Do you think, actually, I think we're going to end the episode here after we make a couple announcements. Boom, 20. We may pre-record it. Look out for that, though. We're going to be covering the draft before and after and during.
Yep.
Number 2, NBA season obviously is on hiatus right now. We have a couple key pieces of news just because we want to put it out there for anybody that's wondering. Jack, I'm going to cover my main points, then you can jump in and cover your main points. Then we'll be done then we'll do a full episode about NBA, probably either Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
anyway, the main things I want to cover right now from Woj the other day is what I heard is basically the NBA is number one. They're not making any decisions right now because we don't know if social distancing, quarantine will all stop in May or if it will continue. And they're going to make decisions once we see where the virus is then and once we see if we can resume play, basically. Yes. Even in arenas with essential team staff and all that. Or in whatever type of courts with essential team staff and all that. Number two, what it would require is the NBA setting up a deal with the Players Association that allows them to somehow pay off the losses that the players are going to lose out on a lot of game checks. The NBA is going to lose out on a lot of revenue from games, and basically the NBA is the one who's paying the players, and the NBA is only getting paid by people, who buy the stuff. So the NBA is going to be the one who's going to lose a lot of money here, paying the players off to not play basically the rest of the season and to cancel it. And they've started talking about that, but they're obviously waiting until they have to do that. That's the last resort.
Yeah.
Number three is obviously the main priority of the NBA is to damage one season and not two, because the coronavirus is obviously already scarred this season. The whole goal is to not have it damaged next season as well. So having the finals in September is one thing, and having the season start again in October, that's a little tricky. Like they're looking into a way where they can, resolve this season, but they're not willing to just, alter next season just to save this season.
No.
So those are my three main things I want to stress. Anything you got, Jack?
Yeah, so I also wanted to bring up that point of the NBA is actually seriously considering, from what I've read, that they're going to extend into September, and they want to crown a champion by Labor Day weekend. So I think that definitely has a chance of going through, especially if, they're saying that they want to crown a champion by Labor Day weekend. That could mean that they finish the season earlier. So I could potentially see them starting back up in like late June or July or something like that.
That's the goal, right? Yes. Start up in late June, July, whenever we can. That allows us to, finish the season.
And plus, when the summer comes, I definitely think the weather's going to have a strong thing on how quickly the virus spreads.
Yeah, we'll see. And everybody's saying, we'll see. We have no way of knowing where we'll be in a week, a month, or two. Anyway, that's all we've got for you guys today. Tune in to Facebook Watch or MLB.com, or where else is this game being broadcast, Jack?
On Mariners.com. It's also on Facebook Watch.
Mariners.com, MLB.com. Press. Thanks for tuning in if you did, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. See you guys later.
All right.